Hey everybody, Aaron here. Welcome back to the Anime Talk, the show where we ask, how do I deal with this? Holy crap. What do I do? What do I do? so, I've wanted to do this for a while, but I only got the incentive to do it recently. And, before anyone starts going, oh, I know the reasons for it, or, are you dating someone, or I'm not going to answer those questions. I always think that personal stuff, like, dating people on YouTube and stuff like that, that is something that should be kept outside of YouTube. I know some people are okay with flaunting their girlfriends on YouTube, and some vice versa with their boyfriends flaunt them on YouTube. But in the world of nowadays, it's a little bit more better to keep it private. I'm a private person in general when it comes to this stuff, so I am definitely not going to say, oh yeah, I'm dating this person or that person. I'm not going to do that. And I want you guys not to start insinuating in the comments if he's dating someone or dating anyone on YouTube, because I will delete those messages immediately when they pop up. Trust me. So don't do that. So what I'm planning to do in this video, though, so let's get out of the serious zone right here. This video is going to be aimed at you guys, okay? Now, next week, because I always say guys and girls, but this video is predominantly for guys. I mean, if you're a girl watching this, you might be also in the same situation a guy might be in, so that's understandable. Fine, keep watching. But next week, I will have a one for girls up at the same time too. So that will come out probably on Thursday also for you guys, for you ladies to enjoy. Now, what happens if you run into the real life archetype of a dere? Now, for you guys and girls that don't know, I did a thing way back when on the Anime Talk, where I was like, I asked people what their favorite deres were, and I went through a list of, famous ones that people love, and people that, see an anime and feel like they're their waifus and stuff like that. But, a lot of people think that these are not possible in real life. They're like, oh, there's no dere in real life. It's very, very possible. These are girls. These are types that you will meet in the real world. And I'll tell you right now, like, I know people want to say right away, yandere is something that you're not going to meet right away. Like, oh, that's a killer, in disguise. That's terrible. How could I do that? But what's interesting about the dere, or excuse me, the yandere in this case, is that yanderes. I'm gonna do something kind of simple for this. Don't take them into the super realm of killing everyone in sight for you and all that. More so, this is going to be the deres that, for this, yanderes will be kind of a step down from their craziness. What we're going to do with them is we're going to have them in the realistic realm of what yanderes can be in real life. And that's more so the girls that are very quick to show their emotions and get to the point of kind of scary levels. Now, yanderes can exist. There have been many police reports and cases where girls have killed someone for their quote-unquote significant other, and that is something that really does happen. I mean, it's not unheard of. I know people don't think that happens, but it does happen, and it's creepy, but lo and behold, that's why I chose these archetypes, because these are all archetypes that you can see in the real realm of things. But what's interesting about this, what I'm going to do with this is that, like I said, I'm going to keep that a step down, so this way, it's more so just the girl that, for example, if you start talking to another girl, they flip out, they go, why are you talking to that girl, huh? Is that, who is that? Who is that? What type of girl is that? Do I know her? Do you know her? Etc. Those type of things. I'm going to go into that realm with that. So we'll say eccentric, very, very eccentric and very clingy type stalker girl will be the yandere. Now, let's start off with talking about what this video will do, though. This video will help you guys essentially deal with these archetypes in real life if one of these kind of crosses your path and you become involved with them. Now, this is going off of a few things, my own personal experience and several other of my friends who, I will not lie to you. This is not a lie, I'm telling you the truth. My friends have all dated one type of this at one point or another. I'm not saying they each one or anything like that. I'm saying at one point they have dated a type of girl like this. Like I knew one girl, my friend knew her very well. She's a kude. She was very quiet and very unemotional. But around him, he would tell me how apparently she was a lot more open and very more active with him. But around other people, she was like a rock. She was so dead quiet, and she was so like, oh, hello, how you doing today? That's it. And I remember her. She was in high school. And then Adande, I also knew. That was a girl that really was, I don't want to say super antisocial, but more so she was one of those girls that she would only talk to this one specific dude. And we used to always wonder about that. And then we found out they were dating, of course. But she was one of those girls that really was not also very emotionally attached to anyone, but more so less than kudere, but more so focused on just liking him and caring for this one person that she really liked at the time. Now, are they still with those people? I'm not going to say yes or no to that. I mean, I'll tell you right now, A few of them are, a few of them are, a few of them are not, and thank God for a few of those because those were scary times. Yande, I remember there was a girl that I knew, and also a girl my friend knew, who was very, very quick to flip out. Very, very fast to flip out on people, and especially our boyfriend at the time, who was my friend, who, if he talked on the phone to some girl or something like that, because he had a lot of friends that were girls, she would think right away he's cheating on her. She would come to me and say, oh, he's cheating on me or whatever. I'm like, no, he's not. He knows a lot of girls, and a lot of them already have couples and stuff like that. But no, that's how it is. But anyways, so what we're gonna start with is the tsundere, and I just want to tell you guys, in case I haven't made that obvious in this video, I might have already, but I'm just gonna kind of give you a refresher. These are not to these tips or kind of things that I'm telling you guys. It's not to help you pick up tsunderes, yanderes, kudes, or dandes. More so, it's to help you deal with those archetypes, because honestly, while I may or may not know how to deal with one specifically, tsundere, I'm not going to say that I can help you now pick up every tsundere possible. Like, oh, if you have a girl that's tsundere, I can help you do it. No, I'm not telling you guys that. I'm just telling you how to deal with it. And I know some of you might be like, oh, wait, can you really do that? Yeah, like I said before, these are real archetypes that exist, and this is going off of my own personal experience and also off of my friends who I've helped with their romances and stuff like that. I always tell people I do that a lot, where I help a lot of people with their romances and stuff like that, regardless if I decide to or not. It seems like that always ends up happening where someone asks me for advice on a romance or a relationship, and I end up helping them with that. So, these are things that I've seen in this world, at least in terms of, the different types of girlfriends my friends have had over the course of the thing, and also my own, I want to say, things that I deal with. Now, I'm starting with tsundere because tsunderes, again, they act mean and sometimes are violent, but in the outside, or at least on the outside, excuse me, but in the inside are very cute and sweet. Now, dealing with tsunderes might be something that you might be going, how the hell do I do? Because it's the concept of you now have to deal with a girl who will outwardly treat you like crap. And the thing is like, oh, how do I deal with that? Like that, this girl is treating me like. But then when you're by yourself with her, or maybe occasionally, you show her some love and show her some affection, she goes a little bit on the the dare side and goes, oh, I like you too, or Now, to deal with this, very simple. Understand what they freaking mean. Okay? So if you know that your girlfriend is like that, or your significant other in this case, if you know they're like this, where they're kind of mean on the outside, but more so when you're with them, or if you are, if they're not quick to show their emotions, understand that that's how they are. It's the thing that I think most people forget in any romance, is that you have to learn your significant other, your girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. You have to learn their characteristics to know what they're talking about. So if someone treats you like, they make a lot of jokes towards you, but, they mean it in a very nice and playful manners, that's because they're playful. They're not being super serious. If they are not trying to be serious, you know that about them. So you cannot take what they say or do with too much of a grain of salt, or too much of a, not grain of salt, but more so, you can't take it too hard heavy. You have to be like, oh, okay, that's just their way of showing their emotion toward me, and that's how I have to deal with it. Now, in many cases, by the way, that's applicable to all these archetypes, but more so, especially with tsunderes, you have to understand what they mean. So almost in many ways, it's like the reverse. If they say, yeah, maybe I like you, or maybe you're cool, or whatever, they actually mean, yeah, they like you and you're cool. They will not tell you that unless you're private with them. Tsunderes, for the most part, when you're private with them, they will tell you a lot of things. They'll be very nice to you. But when they're outside with other people, not so much. Now, the violent part, that's typical of a lot of girls with a lot of things too. A lot of girls like to hit playfully and stuff like that. Don't take that super serious. Don't be like, oh, that's them hitting me and showing abuse. No, that doesn't have to do that. They could just be, punching you softly or punching you like medium. Really, dude, don't be thinking that's like a violent thing. So don't take that too serious. More so focus on the concepts of them saying things that may not seem like what you want to hear, but realistically are nice, and they're meant to be something that So think of it, even if you want to, in a better way. Think of it as your own secret thing of way of talking to one another. So she goes, oh, whatever, you're pretty cool, or something like that, whatever. For a fact she means you're really cool, but she can't tell you that. So in your way, you'd be like, you know what, that's sweet of her. I know it sounds weird, right? But it's something that, honestly, it makes it so it's a lot more enjoyable. And, then you have your own little secret code. So this way, if people are messing with you, or if you're like one of those people that don't want to show, you know, of romance in public, you can do that in a way that's secretive to you guys. So you know, if she's saying like, yeah, whatever, you know, you're cool, you're like this and that, you know, she means the complete opposite of it. That she really does dig you and she likes you. Now let's move on to the next one, yanderes. Now yanderes are something that I have no experience with, but I know a lot of my friends who've had some very scary psycho girlfriends. Now I'll say this right now from experience dealing with those, you know, romance cases. I call them cases because they really are in many ways something that's very different. Yandere's, let's read it off, act sweet and cute on the outside, but in some cases have as someone they will be willing to kill for just to keep him or her. Now, by the way, I had to read that. Like, I apologize for kind of butchering the reading of that, but it's really small on my screen. So, I mean, for you guys, hopefully it'll be bigger. For me, it's really small. But the thing is that take, like I said before, very early on, take off the killing part. We don't need that part. Just more so focus on the nice, sweet act and the realistic of where they're willing to do a lot for their boyfriends, but almost in the category of stalkerish territory and also very, very clingy. Now, if you have a yandere girlfriend, this is going to be very, very hard for you out of all of these archetypes because these are the girls that you have to show them a constant attention and you have to also show them that you are willing to deal with their craziness because they will sometimes realize they're crazy and they will tell you they're crazy and they know it. But it's up to you as the boyfriend, as the girlfriend, as the significant other, whatever case you are. You have to understand that that is the type of person that you're dealing with. You're dealing with this type of person. Now, the best things I can give you advice wise, and this is what I've told my friends before in the past, and it's worked for the most part. I mean, you know, a lot of the relationships, yanderes are very quick to break up with people just for the sheer fact that, you know, they either find someone that's more willing to deal with the stuff that they deal with, or they just kind of lose interest in general. But with a lot of them, I do know one of my friends who has a yandere girlfriend who had a yandere girlfriend for many years. One thing I always knew him telling me about was that for him to learn how to deal with it, what he had to do was he had to kind of play into it and always be willing to go right away and just kind of stop her thought process of something being an ulterior motive. Like, so for example, if he talked to another girl or whatever, he would tell her, hey, listen, that's just my friend. I know her from class, whatever. You know, there's nothing between us. And that would actually like nip the problem in the butt right away. So this way she wouldn't have to, you know, she wouldn't get pissed off and worried and he wouldn't have to deal with that. So essentially what you have to do is you have to be very patient, be very, very patient. Like out of all these, more patient than all of them. And also understand that they are quick to be triggered. Understand that very quickly. They will be triggered by things and you will not be able to stop it once it happens fully. You need to go at this with a open mind, but even more so a patience level that I think is even higher than mine because I have a very high patience level. I tell people that my patience level is very, very high. And you know, a lot of my friends go, "Oh, you know, they can trigger me with stuff this." And you know what's funny? I tell them, "Are you really doing that though? Do you really think you are?" Because sometimes I lie to people in terms of what triggers me, only because I want them to think that is my breaking point. I want them to know, pretend like that is my point, but realistically, that is not my point. So this way, they will always just stay at that level, thinking that's what pisses me off. But I'm like, no, I'm not really pissed off by that. And I told a few people that, and you know, it's funny. It's laughable when you realize that I'm doing that, but more so, it's just because I don't think everyone should know what your breaking point is. So when you know, this is kind of off topic here, but don't ever let someone know what your breaking point is. You know, make them think something, but don't actually reveal what pisses you off completely. Because trust me, there are things that piss me off, but no one knows about it for the most part except my best friends, my close ones, and that's it. No one in my like bigger range of friends that I have know what my true breaking point is, and I want to keep it that way. So this way, I always have that up on them because they think, oh, we pissed them off. Haha, you know, we made the jokes that we need to make the jokes for to get them pissed off. Yeah, sure you did. Haha, yeah, I'm so pissed off. Oh boy. No, I'm really not. But that is that same concept, though. We can kind of turn this into the yandere stuff. Is that you have to have that mental capacity and that patience level to really deal with yanderes. Now, moving on, we're going to talk next about kudeis. Now, kudeis are a very, very interesting type of girl archetype. Really are. Now, you might be saying, well, are there really girls that exist like that? Hell yeah, there are. I don't know how to put that more emphasis. I know a lot of people think right away like, oh, this is anime, so there can't be people like that. There are people exactly like this. Remember, anime, as the anime man once said, and he said, actually, what recent video he actually said this, as me doing this, he said, and it's the best left to him, that you know, anime is an expression of exaggeration. It is a caricature of real life. thus meaning that it is based off a semblance of real life. That's going from my own quotes, by the way. There are things here that really do exist, and the thing is, right here, is kudes are real. These are girls that act very cool and unemotional, but show cuteness later on, or sweetness later on. That is very true. These are the girls that I consider like the loners in class. Like you see them in the corner by themselves, and they will act very cool. They're very nonchalant about things. They won't go, oh, whatever. It's not a big deal if you like bump into them by accident, or if you talk to them and you seem like you're distracting them, whatever. They will act very kind of emotionless towards you, but act very cool. Now, the best thing to do with these, if you are in a relationship with these, is that you don't have to do very much. I'll be honest with you. This, out of all of these, this is one of the simpler ones, to be honest. I mean, even Dande is pretty simple for the most part, but kudes are the super simple ones, because if you're already with them, you're already with them. And the thing is that they will always act very cool and unemotional outside, but understand that with you, they will always show you love and affection. That is something that I know from one of my good friends who had a kude as a girlfriend, who we used to thought was a bitch. I'll be honest with you. She was always emotionless, always act like this and that. And then one day he told me, dude, she just acts like that in front of everyone else because she's shy, but even more so, she doesn't want you guys to know how she acts really in more closed spaces. So that is a kind of mask she puts on. She puts on this cool mask to avoid having to deal with people and, having to, I guess, show how she really is. So, honestly, it's a little weird. It's a little off-putting, I guess, to some people. But understand that it is probably one of the easiest things to deal with if you are in a relationship with this type of person, because you're already in a relationship with that type of person. My only advice, if you are one of those issues, or if you have one of those issues with any of the kudes, is understand that concept. Understand that she's going to be cold to everyone, maybe even you in public. Doesn't actually mean to be like that, but maybe that's just something that she puts on as a persona to avoid having to deal with like questions or dealing with scrutiny for maybe being in a relationship in general. I notice a lot more high school girls and younger girls in general have this persona, especially if they're focusing on what they want to focus off in life. When you get into the real world and you get a little older and stuff like that, like you're in college, you won't see too many kudes. You'll see more the next one, but I'll say right now more so. This is a high school thing. So if you're in high school, if you're in a lower grade, whatever, my advice is just understand that, hey, that cool girl just probably is acting like that just to stay in the concept of cool, not to really be scrutinized or disliked by anyone, or maybe just kind of just stay and fade away from existence of everyone's prying eyes. Now, the final one is Dande, which Dande is also very simple to deal with. Honestly, this little thing I gave you guys hint-wise is really more for Tsundes and Yanderes, because they are the hard ones to deal with. These two are kind of easy. Now, acts antisocial and doesn't talk to anyone until the right person comes along. Now, the only issue you have to worry about this, the only issue is, again, being with this type of person in the sense of trying to get with them. Because these are the type of people that are looking for the Mr. Right out there, or Mrs. Right, or whatever. These are the people that, once they find that person, they are going gun-ho for that person. And the thing about having to deal with that is, again, this goes off my own personal experience in terms of my friends. I used to know this one girl who would act completely cold to everyone. Like, even more so than a kude, she would just act cold to people. But with her boyfriend, she was completely different. And the thing was is that, she was so lovable around him. She was so nice. She even treated us nice around, when he's around. But the thing is when he wasn't around and we knew her in class, just nothing. She wouldn't even say anything. She didn't want to talk to you. She just wanted to focus on whatever she was focusing on. And when she got to her boyfriend, that she focused on him. Now, understand the only struggle with you if you're already with a Dande is that your friends may hate her. That is probably the only thing I'm going to say. And understandably, your friends will hate her because of the fact that she is acting like this towards them. She's going for Mr. Right. So in your case, if you're with her, she's going for you. But the thing is that, your friends, they will not understand that. They'll be like, well, she seems like she's a real